Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Property Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan, on Magicbricks Now, India's first property channel. Today we are answering questions related to buying, selling or investing in real estate with Amit Goenka. Amit is the MD and CEO of Nisus Finance. Amit, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kavita.
Let's take Shyam's question first. He sent in a question through email. He says that he's interested in investing into residential real estate for a long-term horizon. Now, Shyam is looking at a 10 to 15-year horizon. His preferred location is Mumbai. He has a budget of 2 crore rupees. He says, please suggest some projects to invest in. The project can be under construction and can be completed in the next 2-3 years. He wants to get into projects by reputed developers. He's considering Rudwal Forest in Kanjurmarg and Kanakia Rainforest in Andheri. Please advise if there are any other suitable projects, he says.
Wonderful, Shyam. Thank you for the query. And both very good shortlisted options. One on the eastern highway, one on the western side. If I have to compare the two, clearly the eastern expressway and projects in and around that are seeing very, very high traction. You would have heard the success story of Godrej Trees in Vikhroli recently, which sold really very well. So I would recommend that you continue to look at potentially Runwal Forest as an option in Kanjurmarg. If you look at the way the entire eastern belt has developed, Ghatkopar obviously got very, very busy and it got very expensive also very shortly, which obviously the benefit flew to Vikhroli, which now I expect to further flow into Kanjurmarg as a next destination for people to invest. Also, remember that there's great connectivity both on the eastern and the western side because of the Jogeshwari-Vikhroli link road. Obviously, that effectively crosses Kanjurmarg. So you get great connectivity. There is obviously the metro at Ghatkopar, which will further get extended. So if you are looking at the ticket size and the horizon that you mentioned, I expect that from a current price of 12 to 13,000 rupees per square foot, which is the average price, you might actually start seeing an upside over the next 4 to 5 years, touching closer to 17, 18,000 rupees. So, but yes, it's not something which will be a multi-bagger, but it'll be a good, safe, strong investment to have within your kitty for the long term, for certain. If you were to, however, look at a shorter term multi-bagger opportunity, I would look at the Powai belt itself, which is Powai Chandivli. The prices have depressed in Powai Chandivli over the last few quarters, and if you look at from a 5-year horizon, there are a number of opportunities which have come up in the sub 16, 17,000 region. I expect Powai, given the huge amount of economic activity, you would have read that a huge amount of commercial offtake happened in Powai recently, which will obviously lend itself to higher amount of residential activity, and obviously the entire .com and startup activity is very, very warm there. So even consider a couple of options within the Powai Chandivli belt.
Okay, so opt for Kanjurmarg is the verdict over there, over Andheri. And if you want to look at a multi-bagger, like Amit said, look at the Chandivali area, which is considered the poorer cousin of Powai, but where you could see significant appreciation going forward. Next, we have Umesh who's called in. Umesh, what's your question?
Well, my question is, a lot of developments in Navi Mumbai are coming up, and I could see metro is coming at Taloja. So, which builder we should invest in Taloja? After that's the affordable area.
Right, Umesh, you've clearly been seeing a lot of Magicbricks Now, if I can go by your question. He's got his infra right. The metro is coming up in Taloja. Taloja is also benefiting from the spillover from Kharghar. There is a BKC-like hub coming over there. Amit, which projects would you recommend in that area?
Well, there are one of the things that we've started to say more often than not is actually look at ready to move in opportunities where you can start some amount of a rental yield, and there are fortunately a number of opportunities available within the Taloja belt. The typical price points tend to be in the 3,500 to 4,000 rupees a square foot, and of course an all-inclusive price might tend to be more like 4,000, 4,300 rupees. Clearly, you've seen that there has been an upside over the last 1.5 years in Taloja, which has been healthy. we expect the price to further kind of stabilize at about 6,000 rupees. So clearly we're seeing another 35-40% upside from current price points in Taloja as an affordable destination, also because of the huge amount of industrial as well as connectivity advantages that Taloja is now starting to enjoy. So there are two opportunities available to you. You could either look at NK Garden or Dev Krupa, Dev Ratna, which are both ready to move in opportunities. So you're not really looking at any delays, defaults, or any EMI outgoes without possessing the property. So, look at these options. And if there are others within the same sort of vicinity which are ready to move in, I would encourage you to look at them as well.
Now, Amit, we recently saw the launch of the prop index, the release of the prop index, in fact, and we saw that ready-to-move-in properties obviously command a premium, and in some markets, they are commanding a premium of as much as 15% over under-construction property. Now, what is the scenario in Taloja? What kind of price differential are you seeing over there between under construction and ready to move in property?
Well, again, the differential is, as you rightly pointed out, Kavita, is within the 10% range, not necessarily 15%, because the fact is that it's still in the lower end of the market price segment. So really the differentials aren't that large. One can expect to see something close to 3,000 or slightly below 3,000 if you're looking at an under construction property. But again, the risk that you're running is very high, because if you look at the interest cost on that money that you're going to put in, you'll actually end up becoming far more expensive when you actually start to possess the property, unless you have a 595 sort of a scheme,
right,
which you're not worried.
Clearly a no-brainer over there. Go invest in a ready-to-move-in property in Taloja and benefit from the metro when it comes up. Sagar has called in. Sagar, what is your question?
Actually, I was looking for a 2 BHK flat for investment purpose in Khopoli area. So I want to know the prospects. I mean, what is the prospect for this investment?
What are the prospects for Khopoli? And he's looking for a 2 BHK. Very interesting choice of location over there. Amit?
Absolutely. Actually, Khopoli is benefiting because of course, the iMagica Park and the actual footfalls which are now going between Mumbai and Lonavala. So clearly one is looking at Khopoli as an option, but also let's remember that Khopoli is still not a very established micro market. There are still a number of things which need to come in. Of course, the new airport potentially may further accentuate the future of Khopoli over the short or medium term. It is still largely seen as a second home or an investment destination. It's very scenic. It's got great connectivity because of the highway. But it's not something which is a very hot destination. It's not very easy to rent it out because there's no strong economic activity within the Khopoli belt.
So, Amit, tell me this. What would you pick? Khopoli on the Mumbai side or Talegaon on the Pune side? Both of these are very close to iMagica, which you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Which would you pick as an investment destination?
Well, of course, Talegaon, because again, Talegaon actually has inbuilt commercial activity. It's got manufacturing. It is a very strong blue-collar development and inhabitation area, whereas Khopoli is still yet to see that sort of an upside. There is huge amount of land bank which is getting colonized. People are thinking of all sorts of things, from golf courses to villa developments to outhouses and what have you. So there's a little bit of a confusion as to what really Khopoli means as far as consumers are concerned, whether it's going to be a luxury second home destination, whether it's going to be an affordable destination. And also remember, there's enough and more affordable developments coming up in the new Panvel area. So Khopoli is still a while away to actually benefit from being seen as an affordable tag.
What about Talegaon? What kind of upside do you see in that market over a 5 to 7 year horizon? So
Talegaon typically, again, is trading in the sub 3,000 bracket, and it could potentially actually go up to even closer to 4,000 over the next 1.5 years. Whereas because it's developed, there are a number of infill developments which have happened. It's got its own socio-economic activities as well as infrastructure around it. So I actually expect it to cross 4,000, 4,500 rupees. It cannot actually afford to actually pay anything higher because it's still the mid-income or the low
25
income.
lakh is a good...
oh yeah, absolutely. 25 lakh is the right ticket size for Taloja or Talegaon or a Khopoli. So clearly, I think that's the ticket size. So upside, really, I see more in the Talegaon belt than Khopoli. Khopoli, I would be very, very cautious unless you want to use it for your second home for the long term and then see what happens to the market.
Right. So Sagar, Khopoli is essentially a second home destination. It still has to turn into a primary residential destination. So that is something that you will need to consider if you're looking to invest over there. What we would suggest and what Amit suggests, in fact, is that you move a few kilometers down towards Pune, cross over and look at investing in Talegaon. With the same budget, that is your 25 lakh rupee budget, you will find options over there, and you can look at a decent upside. This market is already going up. It's priced averaging around 3,705 rupees per square foot. You can see that prices have gone up 7% in the last 2 years, and this is in a slow market. And with the kind of developments that we are seeing in Pune, you would probably be better off investing. Since you're looking for a pure investment, you'd be better off investing in Talegaon. So do consider Talegaon, is what Amit has to say. Moving on, we have Puneet, who's written in on our website. Now, Puneet, this is a Pune question. He's booked a 2 BHK in Hinjewadi, Pune. The name of the project is Melange, and the price is 5,050 rupees per square foot. He wants to know if it's the right decision, will he get good appreciation in the coming years, and what would be the expected rate after project completion, or in the next 4 to 5 years. He's looking at Hinjewadi. Can he go wrong there?
Well, it's a very, very good choice to start with, because first of all, Hinjewadi has been talked about quite a bit over the last couple of years with the IT development. Of course, even the prop index that Magicbricks has brought out suggests that Hinjewadi will continue to be a very, very active destination for buying and investing. It is a very consumer market. There is obviously occupation largely and only by the ITS companies. So clearly the demand and the occupation of Hinjewadi will continue so long as you're within the phase 1, phase 2, and maybe early phase 3 of Hinjewadi, and not really back and beyond going towards Lavasa, but you're really within the phase 2, phase 3 location. This is a good development by the Rama Group. Clearly the prices are in the 5,500 rupees a square foot, which has now really become the median price for Hinjewadi. It has also actually seen prices go up to 7,000 rupees in the past, when the developments weren't very large and people are doing some very, very high-end developments like Blue Ridge, etc. in Hinjewadi, which tended to even trade at closer to 7,000 rupees a square foot. But now the prices obviously averaged out to 5,000. So good investment to stay put with. As far as upside, as I said, at best I would expect it in the next 2 or 3 years.
Amit, you're talking about upside. I want to draw your attention to this graph that you're showing. Prices are averaging 5,705 rupees per square foot. We know that markets have been slow.
Yes.
But the prices in Hinjewadi, very surprisingly, have only gone up 1%.
Yes.
Now, is this because of the kind of supply we are seeing in the market?
Absolutely, which is what I mentioned, Kavita, that the prices have actually dropped significantly. Hinjewadi started at about 3,500-4,000 rupees and very quickly went to closer to 6,500-7,000 rupees, only to now come back to 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, and slowly has inched up in the last 2 years to about 5,500 rupees, thereabouts. So clearly the market has been actually negative. So if you look at the average return, has been actually not very significant in Hinjewadi. What works for it clearly is the fact that it's a very rentable location. So you can actually start earning rents pretty rapidly, and over the next few years, when the development really comes up, it is complete, there is enough mass that is getting built, you can actually see a slight upside which will move it maybe by 20% over the next 3.5 years, which is not an extraordinary amount of return, but because you're also getting rent, if you're getting into a ready to move in, your overall returns will be reasonable.
Right. So very rentable location, so you can expect a decent monthly return that you can get from that particular market. Also, don't let that chart really put you off over there, because let me also tell you, let me break that down for you. The numbers that you're seeing over here are how prices have moved till September 2015. As we speak, we are working on getting you data up to the 2016 March, that is. So, and we do expect to see this number further improving as you go from September towards March. Let's move on. Sanjeev has written in through our website. Now he says that he wants to buy a 2 BHK flat in the Rajnagar extension in Ghaziabad as an investment. What are the future prospects and what would be the appreciation in the next 5 years? Now, Amit, this is a location for which we're getting a lot of questions. Rajnagar extension, what is so special about this, and why are so many people buying into it? Is it just a price point? Is there infrastructure coming up? What is there?
Well, I've personally also loved the Ghaziabad and Rajnagar extension despite its tag of not being a very safe location or not being a very preferred destination for investors. Also, people really haven't made a lot of money in Rajnagar extension, but the only reason I like it because it's a stable market. People keep on buying, people using it. It's not an investor's market, doesn't see speculation, doesn't see huge upsides and downsides in the pricing. It largely remains flattish at sub 4,000 rupees. It's very end consumer driven, so projects keep on getting occupied very quickly. You don't see ghost towns, you don't see ghost buildings that much. Most of it is really a very infill location. Also, what is favorable for Rajnagar extension within Ghaziabad going forward is that Ghaziabad itself has been declared a smart city, which means now we see a huge amount of work going into Ghaziabad and therefore benefiting Rajnagar extension to become a smart city and become more livable, become more...
So over the next 5 years, will this safe investment that is giving steady returns, do you see prices really spiking over here?
I would expect it to, because it has been under pressure for very long. Also, if you look at its cousin, which is the Noida extension prices also started at 2,500, 3,000 and now already gone up to 4,500 rupees. I actually think Rajnagar extension is a better option compared to the Noida extension development, given that it has got great highway connectivity, clearly, because of the two highways that pass through it, NH91 and NH58. Also, we know that there is a metro work going on, which will finally take it beyond Vaishali and take it to Rajnagar extension, which will certainly benefit this location a lot. It has got very good and modern development, so it's not a poor man's development. It is really a very, very affordable, a very, very upscale development. At the same time, you have golf courses, you have all sorts of things in Rajnagar extension and within that larger Ghaziabad
So essentially
market.
what you're saying is Sanjeev is getting the best of both worlds. He's buying into an established market.
Yes.
There is social infrastructure over here.
Yes.
Buildings have been delivered over here, which is a big deal at the NCR market.
Yes.
It is not a ghost town. And what's more, it's been showing steady growth. If you see the prices over there, they are priced around 3,035 rupees per square foot. Prices have gone down, but prices have gone down in the whole of NCR over the last 2 years. So don't let that deter you. What Amit said over here is that there is a metro coming up over there, and that will see prices really bump up. Plus, it will definitely benefit from Ghaziabad becoming a smart city. Absolutely. So an established market looking for a spike in prices is how we would put Rajnagar extension. So good time to buy into that market. Padma, what is your question?
Hello, I want to know, we have bought a property in Belvedere, Ozone Urbana.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know what is the appreciation, though we bought it to live there, but if we want to sell, what is the expected price?
Padma, could you help me with the city in which this property is located?
It's in Bangalore near International Airport.
Bangalore near the International Airport.
Yes.
What kind of appreciation can she expect if she wants to sell it?
Well, Padma, as you know, Devanahalli has seen a huge amount of development, not just south of Devanahalli, but now also extending north of Devanahalli in the larger Bayappa region. That region has had challenges as far as water and electricity supply is concerned. Devanahalli has largely gone up on the back of speculative demand because a lot of people believe that it is the new affordable destination and a lot of investments
Amit,
have gone up.
I hate to interrupt you, but look at the way the prices have gone up, 53% in the last 2 years.
Yes.
Which other location in India can actually boast of numbers like this?
Well, I know you're right, because Bangalore in general has averaged to about 5,000 to 6,000 rupees a square foot in most micro markets. So people who were selling, whether it's Mysore Road, whether it was even Sarjapur Road or Whitefield, which was at 3,500, 4,000, have actually gone up to that level. So if you drop the Whitefield chart, you'll potentially get something similar, about 40% to 50% growth. But now I think really that's where the story will taper off. And because Devanahalli is not a livable destination. People generally are not looking to go and stay there, for the long term, because there is still job creation that needs to come. Unless you're affiliated with some development or some commercial activity in the vicinity or connected with the airport commercial activities, but otherwise, it's not an infill location like an IT-ITS corridor or a manufacturing corridor. So I would recommend that while this is a great developer and a great location for potentially the long term, but the prices seem to have peaked out, and a lot of developments which are further towards the city. And if you look at within North Bangalore itself, you look at Thani Sandra or Yalanka or Hebbal, or any of those locations, you will get actually within 6,000 rupees pretty much the same sort of development, because they are closer to Manyata Tech Park. We've seen Manyata Tech Park now going for further extension, which will mean that it will draw in more crowd to actually come and stay there. So it becomes a more rentable, a more livable location. Further, if you have to look at industrial development and still stay in the north-northeast corridor, you could continue to look at Hoskote. So if you have to stay there, then for the long term, clearly Devanahalli has a strong story for itself. But if you think it as an investment now, you could look at alternate
But
locations.
he's clearly saying that, this has been delayed by over a year. So like you said, it makes better sense for her to just sell it and exit at this point.
Yeah, because there are a number of ready to move in properties which are available for much within that price point.
Right, Padma. So just sell it. The market is peaking out as we speak, and that is what Amit just said here. Prices have already gone up 53%. You've doubled your investment in that locality. So I mean, why hold? Sell and then look to buy into other localities in Bangalore like Hebbal, like Tanisandra, Hennur, or you can look at the industrial belt like Hoskote. Moving on, we have Ganesh who's joined us on the phone. Ganesh, what is your question?
हेलो.
Yes, Ganesh.
Yes, ma'am. मुझे ना सॉरी स्पीक टू.
नहीं बताइए क्या सवाल है आपका?
मुझे ना आरए कॉलोनी गोरेगांव ईस्ट में आरए कॉलोनी में रॉयल पॉम्स कर है. मुझे उधर 1 BHK चाहिए.
ठीक है गणेश, अगर आपका टीवी सेट ऑन है तो उसे म्यूट कीजिए क्योंकि उससे काफी डिस्टर्बेंस होता है.
ओके. मुझे ना रॉयल पॉम्स में 1 BHK का फ्लैट चाहिए था मुझे परचेस के लिए. तो उधर क्या रेट है, क्या है, थोड़ा बताइए ना.
राइट. अमित, क्या आप रॉयल पाम्स रेकमेंड करेंगे? ये काफ़ी सालों से प्रोजेक्ट बन रहा है, काफ़ी बड़ा टाउनशिप भी है ये. 1 BHK खरीदना है इनको. रेट्स क्या चल रहे हैं वहाँ पर और क्या आप रेकमेंड करेंगे कि गणेश वहाँ पर प्रॉपर्टी खरीदे?
देखिए, वहाँ से अभी आरए कॉलोनी से नए रोड की बात काफ़ी दिनों से चल रही है और अब गवर्नमेंट ने ये भी डिसाइड किया है कि उनको अभी मंजूरी मिली है कि एक रोड वहाँ से पास हो जो ईस्ट वेस्ट कॉरिडोर को कनेक्ट कर सके. मगर जहाँ तक ये स्पेसिफिक डेवलपमेंट या वो कॉरिडोर का सवाल है, तो कब आएगा हमको आइडिया नहीं है क्योंकि अभी भी वो फाइनलाइज नहीं हो पाया है आरए कॉलोनी रोड. उसके अलावा टिपिकली गोरेगांव में प्राइसेस 12, 13, 14 हज़ार के ऊपर ही चलते हैं. मगर यहाँ पे बिकॉज ये गोरेगांव के आरए कॉलोनी के अंदर है तो थोड़ा एक्सेस रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाता है. दूसरा, वहाँ का जो लैंड है टिपिकली वो लीज होल्ड लैंड होता है, फ्री होल्ड लैंड नहीं होता. तो आप एक बार वहाँ पे जो लैंड और टाइटल राइट्स हैं कि वो फ्री होल्ड लैंड है, परपेचुअल राइट्स है कि ये लीज होल्ड है और उसका कुछ एक शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए लीज है, तो थोड़ा सा अपना लीगल ड्यू डिलिजेंस कर लीजिए.
इसका मतलब मैं आपको समझा देती हूँ. लीज होल्ड और फ्री होल्ड लैंड में काफ़ी फ़र्क होता है. लीज होल्ड का मतलब है कि जो ज़मीन है उसका मालिकाना हक आपको नहीं मिलेगा. आप घर ज़रूर वहाँ पर खरीद सकते हैं, घर पर आपका हक होगा लेकिन ज़मीन पर आपका हक नहीं होगा. लेकिन अगर फ्री होल्ड लैंड है, इसका मतलब ये है कि आपकी सोसाइटी जो है सोसाइटी आप उस ज़मीन की मालिक है. यानी जो भी आगे डेवलपमेंट होगा वहाँ पर FSI या TDR का जो भी फ़ायदा मिलेगा वो आपके सोसाइटी को मिलेगा. तो ये जो चीज़ है ये आपको क्लियर करना पड़ेगा कि ज़मीन का टाइटल फ्री होल्ड है या लीज होल्ड है. और साथ ही साथ ये भी ध्यान रखिए कि ये आरए के अंदर बन रहा है, जिसका मतलब ये है कि यहाँ पर जो अप्रिसिएशन है, जो बढ़ोतरी होनी चाहिए दामों कीमतों में, उस पर थोड़ा रिस्ट्रिक्शन हो सकता है. अगर आप गोरेगांव ईस्ट का प्राइसेस देखें तो 14,700 रुपये प्रति स्क्वायर फुट, यानी 14,700 और रुपीज़ पर स्क्वायर फुट इज़ व्हाट प्राइसेस आर एवरेजिंग एट in the Goregaon East area. But remember, this is Goregaon East. RA is a location that is an environmentally sensitive zone, so prices over there would be much lesser. तो गणेश, आपको ये सब ध्यान में रखना होगा और फिर आपको यहाँ खरीदना पड़ेगा. Amit, if you were to recommend something else within the same budget to Ganesh, what would you say?
So I'm assuming that he's looking at prices within this development, which is lower than 10,000 rupees a square foot, whereas as you rightly pointed out, the average prices are within the 14 to 15,000 rupees a square foot. At 10,000 rupees, one will have to go further down, look more at Borivali or Kandivali belts where there are developments which have come up in the 10,000 to 11,000 rupees a square foot. Also, there are more stable developments and they will benefit further from the long term. As you are seeing on your screen that Borivali and Kandivali have actually grown and will continue to grow in the short term, medium term, as opposed to the Goregaon belt, because it's got very congested. There is a greater upside that is coming in because of the affordability, which is still Kandivali and Borivali can afford, as opposed to the Goregaon market. So look at going further down the Western Express Highway. Within Goregaon, typically you will get ready to move in apartments also, but they will be north of 15,000 rupees a square foot.
Right. So if you want your investment to grow, if you want an upside on your investment, अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आपकी प्रॉपर्टी के दामों में बढ़ोतरी हो, तो गोरेगांव में आर्य कॉलोनी के अंदर इन्वेस्ट ना करें. यहाँ पर अगर गोरेगांव मार्केट 14,000 प्रति स्क्वायर फुट पर चल रहा है, तो ये 10,000 रुपये प्रति स्क्वायर फुट पर चल रहा है. बेहतर होगा कि you move towards Kandivali, Borivali, where there is a lot of infrastructure development happening, and you could probably, get a better appreciation on your property prices in those markets. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Property Hotline. Thank you very much, Amit Goenka, for coming in.
Thank you, Kavita.
If you have any feedback or suggestions that you would like to share, any questions you want to ask, do get in touch with us through email, Facebook, Twitter, write in on our website www.mbnow.in, or simply call in live on Property Hotline. Ask your questions, we'll get you answers from the country's top experts. Thank you very much for watching. Keep watching Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mbnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.